Hey, good morning, everybody. We are ready to get jump started on um, a new day, new Thursday. So I want to welcome you out to the Average Joe Trading pre-morning show where you get to see me build my watch list and kind of set my plan for today. And I always like to give a little message before we get started. But just to let you know, I just got in a trade before I came on. TLRD, I did short it on the fail of VWAP and all of the moving averages. So it's been kind of hanging around there. So not sure if we're going to get the move down to test the lows or not. But it was looking pretty decent. So I went ahead and took a stab at it. If it um, closes back above the moving averages and VWAP, then I'll take it off. But that's what I'm kind of looking at now. So if I get distracted, then that's what's distracting me. But we'll look at it here in a few. So the question I have for you this morning is, how far will your will take you? How far will your will take you? There's some things in life that will not just come to you. Some things that you can't just earn by working hard and doing the right things and putting yourself in the right position. Some of these things just aren't going to come to you. So you have to go out and take it. You have to will yourself. It's not going to just happen with you dreaming about it. It's not going to happen just thinking about it. I know I kind of believe in the law of attraction like a lot of people do, but you still have to put some action to it. Visualizing it, seeing it, and everything, seeing it come to pass, that's supposed to drive your action. There are some things in life that you're just going to have to will it. You're going to have to will it to happen. And learning how to trade and going through this trading is one of these things that you're just going to have to will yourself. You're going to have to will it to happen. Okay, on the way to getting what you want, and on your way to learning this trading success and learning how to be consistent and everything, you're going to run into a lot of obstacles. If you haven't already, you will. There's no doubt about it. But when you run into these roadblocks, when you run into these obstacles, it could be your job, it could be your boss that kind of figured out what you're trying to do and they're jealous. They don't want you to get ahead. It may be your friends. They don't want you to get ahead in life. Um, all of these things can be obstacles that run into you or that you have to deal with. But you have to say to yourself, you know, I will not let it outwill me. I will not let it outwill me. I'll not give up. I'll not surrender, and I will not quit. Some things in life are only going to be accomplished when you put your heart into it. When you put your heart and your soul into it. And you have to have that will. That will is what's going to drive you and what's going to get you to the next level here in trading. You have to have that will. All right, so let's look at what the market is bringing us today. Not much on my scan, on my pre-market scan. We got TLRD, which we are trading now, which I'm in now. And we got ELF. Now here, TLD is down on earnings. Fourth quarter loss. I think the guidance is bad as well. So really, they really had a bad time fourth quarter. Yep, so we're gonna look at TLD here in a minute, TLRD, and ELF. Yeah, ELF has been in a strong sell-off here. So it looks like it was trying to bounce today. So they had earnings yesterday after close, looks like. Okay, they beat earnings. Their revenue was up 17%, beat expectations. So they are bouncing. We'll take a look at it. So we'll look at those two charts to see if there's anything over here. And sometimes we have a high float stock over here that we do not, that doesn't hit my scan, that might give us an opportunity. Nope. So that's it for right now. So let's look at, all right, we'll look at TLRD first. Okay, and this is the rejection I was looking at right here. This we lost a VWAP here. I got in on this candle. Was really looking to see if we could fade it down to 16. That's what I was looking for, right? This is kind of the low. Let's see, the pre-market low this morning is 1606. So I was looking for it to get a move down there. That's what I was really expecting. But looks like we're kind of hung up in this area here. We might not be getting the fade. But let's look at the daily chart and see what windows we have on it. So we are down here. We had a massive gap down. And you know, I'm only looking for it to give me, you know, about 50 cents or so, 40, 50 cents here pre-market. That's all I was really looking for. I wasn't looking for it to make a major move because we've already had this huge gap down here. So I was looking, you know, looking for a decent, solid pre-market trade here to kind of get my morning started. So 40, 50 cents on 200 shares is, you know, would not have been a bad trade. So it's decent risk reward here. So just marking out the pivot points here. We do have a lot of congestion in this area. So I think the downside potential today might be a little limited. Might be. So let's look at the 5-minute again. Yeah, so we should be able to get here. We should be able to. We just have to wait and see um, on what happens here in the next 30 minutes or so. Um, the after hours low, I don't, that doesn't really factor into what I'm looking at. It doesn't really. All right, so let's look at uh let's see, what was the others? ELF. Let's look at ELF. All right, so ELF is making a push. It's still kind of holding up, but it's kind of hanging around VWAP here. It hasn't really made a decent push this morning after, we started trading a little bit after 7. We did make a little push up, but it's just kind of been trading sideways, kind of like what TLRD has been doing. So let's look at the daily chart. So it is in play today. Yeah. ELF. So we are down. See at 3050s is where we're trading right now. So we'll kind of move up from here, looking for some pivot points. It's like this has been a fairly choppy stock, which makes it difficult to kind of mark out these. But relatively new IPO. So let's go back and look at the daily chart, see what we've got. Yeah, that candle went out, sold all the way off to this 29.98 level where we bounced. We got nice windows in here. We'll be a good trader, if the price action and everything settled and gives us an opportunity. But we'll see. This isn't one of my primary things. Oh, SIG finally showed up. SIG made a nice move this morning. And it finally hit the scan here. So TLRD, SIG, let's look at SIG. Wow, that was a nice move. It didn't have any volume early why I didn't hit my scan. But now this is probably going to be in play today. So it's awesome if you caught that first move. Awesome if you caught the first move. but it didn't have any volume, so it wasn't on my radar at the time. So we're trading around 63, 62.40 was kind of the low it hit. So it looks like we're in a window here. Yep, because I don't see any price action in that window until we go back to 2013 when we find this. Oh, now let's see how this shapes up on the 5 minutes. See how it shapes up on the 5 minutes. See, it had that big recovery. This is the big gap that we see on the on a daily. So definitely interested in this. Definitely interested in this. Huge window. Yeah, so it looks like those would be my two watches will be TLRD and SIG. Now SIG popped off of this because it recovered a lot of that gap. So it popped off of that, but we'll still have that in still have that on watch. And it made these moves because there's very low volume on it. When you have low volume, you you run the risk of making these moves. So when it opens, you want to see it get some volume and the price action to settle before you take this trade. As with any other stock, you want to see it have volume at the open, and you want to see the price action settle and start, printing some solid candles. Then I'm still waiting for this TLRD to go. All right, so you got my watch list. I'm watching TLRD and SIG out of the gates. All right, so let me switch over here so we can look at what's going on with the struggle. All right, here's the struggle. We are, we're just kind of hanging around here. We haven't gotten a move down like I was anticipating. Yeah, I was only looking for the move down to about 16 and I was going to take it all off. Even though we've got this huge gap down, the RSI is still, it's not in the oversold area yet. So, I felt pretty good about taking this once we lost it. Here, this is where I was messing with my routes. So this was just a wash right here. I knew I wasn't ready to take it yet because we never got the confirmed close, but I was here. I waited till after 8 so I could play with it to try to figure out why my fields weren't doing like they used to do. But here's where I took it. This was the setup right here. We lost the VWAP and all of these levels. We had a candle to close. This one was confirming it. You can see on the 2-minute we had that trend down, but right now we're just stuck at 1640. We're just kind of stuck there. David, you can't play stop losses on pre-market. They don't work. So anytime you get in pre-market, you're gonna have to use a mental stop. And no, this stock I will not hold at open because it's so far down. You may have a lot of people buying this up at the open, and I don't want to get caught in that pop. So I would get out of it prior to open and then reset after open. I mean, and if it washes out, so be it. But, I have to be smart about my trades. Now, the spreads on SIG make it pretty much untradeable at this point. I mean, this is not something you can even trade. I mean, on paper you can, but no way in the world I would trade this in a live account with the spreads that's on this. You talking about over 50-cent spread. And yeah, Jack, ELF is too low of a float. That's why I don't have it on my watch. It's got a 3 million share float. We vetted it because we do have people that like to trade these lower float stocks. So I did vet it and we did take a look at it. But definitely too low of a float for me. Yeah, see, if the float wasn't so bad, it'd be all right. But you got anywhere from 50 cents to $1 at times. Because right now it's at 65 cents. So the minute you get in, you're down 65 cents. Pretty much. The minute you get in, you're down 65 cents. No, TLRD has a 48 million share float. ELF has a 3 million share float. 3.5 million share float. Well, I'm looking at it here on on trade ideas. They've got it at a 3 million share float. But on FinViz, they got it at a 24 million share float, which still isn't close. No, FinViz, I'm looking at it right now. It's 24.5 million share float. Trade Ideas has it as a 3 million share float. So the shares outstanding is 46.49 million, but that's not the float. No, I'm not shorting 600 shares. I'm only short 200 shares. But this thing wants to go higher. It really wants to go higher. So this I'm gonna sit back and wait until the open. So I'm gonna take this off. Ah, forgot. God dog it. You can't do market orders anymore. Crap. This thing messed. God damn it. I forgot we couldn't do market orders. So I tried to get out and it rejected it. God damn it. I gotta take it off. I'm not gonna let it sit there.
Are you gonna want to go to the thing or not? Because I have to pay for yours. Because we have 4 free tickets. But then the other dilemma we have is that it's like assigned seats, so we might run into that issue. But just wanting you to know that you're going to. And then when are you picking up Celine? And I forgot I don't have class this Saturday. Remember? Okay, I forgot.
Okay. So I may get her Saturday morning.
Okay. Do you want
Yeah.
me to try to get you to a ticket for Friday night, or just depends on?
Yeah, you said it's free. You see,
Okay,
I
we
got
have
the.
4 free tickets, and they're all seated together. Okay,
Uh-huh.
but there's 4 of us. If we want to bring our significant others, we may have to look at something different. The problem we're running into is that it's
Well,
assigned seats, so does that
well,
make
nah, if
sense?
it's just y'all four, y'all go ahead. I thought there were extra tickets and nobody wanted them.
No, there's not extra.
Oh,
It's
okay.
me, Julie, Mike, and Van. Julie, Mike, Van, me.
Okay.
But I'll let you know. Okay.
Okay.
Love you, babe.
All right. Love you. All right. All right. Sorry about that. Um, no, I'm not. Again, over here, I was trying to mess with the route because I wanted to get in this. I knew that this was going to set up at some point and I wanted to trade it. So that's why this here was a wash. This was like a wash trade. Here's where I got in with 200 shares. That's why it's showing that I have 4 tickets with 800 shares. So that's the total amount. Okay, that's why I was telling you this before I brought it up, so you'll know that that's what I was looking at. That I was messing with this right after 8 o'clock when this thing opened up where I could mess with it. Because I'm trying to figure out, I was trying to change these routes around so that my orders will fill instantly. But I forgot that my market orders don't work anymore pre-market. So I always like to just mark it out. But it didn't work pre-market, and um the thing jumped up on me. Because I was sitting here looking at it and I knew what it was gonna do. And that's why I clicked it when I clicked it. I can sit here and watch level 2 time and sales, and I can tell when this thing is getting ready to make a run. Now it didn't run up the way I that it could have run. It could have kept going. It did stop, but I'm not taking that chance. That's why I got out of it. We started to where we only got 10 cents to the good before it started this mess. So I'm gonna wait until the open and then I'm going to trade this. All right, guys, that's it for this morning. I'm gonna sit back and wait. Still gonna watch TLRD and SIG. Still gonna just sit back and wait to the open and see what this sets up. This is still a good setup. Just didn't follow through pre-market. Pretty much what every trade I've seen has done after 8:30. Pre-market in the last week. For a while these were really paying off. Now these are just not. They're not following through, and they're just kind of trading sideways around the support or resistance until the open, and then it's making a move. So this one pretty much played out the way all of them have for the last week or so for me. So we'll be watching it. We'll be watching SIG. And remember, trade for skill, not for money. If you trade for the skill, you're going to protect yourself. Like, this when this thing started to run away from me, I didn't sit there and hold. I got out. I waited for a second to see if we would get it. If we would get a pullback real quick. When we didn't, I went ahead and took it off. It's not worth the risk, because when you're growing your account, you want to make sure that you are preserving and protecting your capital. When the trade doesn't go your way, you stop out and you go back and you reset. Because if you reset and you get the trade, then it's going to wipe out whatever you lost, plus give you a little bit more. So all you do is just focus on trading for the skill. And when you do that, the money's going to be there at the end of the day. I promise you, I'm a living witness of that. So have a great day, and we will see you tomorrow morning. We will wrap up this week. Hopefully we'll have a strong day today and strong day tomorrow, and we can finish this week on a high note. So take care, and we will see you then.